Every time you use ChatGPT, every time you ask Claude a question, every time you generate an image with Midjourney, you're using an invention created by this person. He was 20 years old, a college intern working at Google's headquarters in Mountain View. And in 2017, he co-wrote 8 pages that would change modern AI forever. That paper has been cited over 120,000 times. It created transformer architecture, the T in ChatGPT, the foundation of every AI model. Without this intern, there is no OpenAI, no Anthropic, no Midjourney. His name is Aidan Gomez, and at 28 years old, he's the CEO of a $7 billion company that's outmaneuvering OpenAI in the one place that actually makes money, the enterprise. This story is of the only Gen Z who can legitimately claim that he invented the technology that everyone uses today. So let's dive in. Brighton, Ontario. Population around 12,000 people. This is a city where everyone knows everyone, where Friday night football games are the biggest events of the week, and where having big dreams about artificial intelligence sound completely unreal. But this is where Aidan Gomez grew up. His father taught math and physics at the local high school. His mom was a librarian, artist, and dancer. So think about the combination of analytical rigor and creative expression from his mom. That blend would later define how he approaches AI. But here's the thing that sucked about growing up in rural Ontario in the early 2000s. The internet sucked. Everything was slow, no high-speed connection, and this was pure torture for a kid who was obsessed with the internet. But limitations forced you to get creative. So while other kids were streaming and playing video games, Aidan was learning how to make computers run faster. He was tinkering, optimizing, getting every ounce of power out of old hardware. Without knowing it, he was developing the mindset that will later help him to create AI models that are more efficient than anyone else's. The kid who couldn't stream YouTube smoothly would one day teach machines how to understand language. Fast forward to 2013, Aidan gets into U of T with one of the biggest tech AI research hubs. And he's not just studying computer science, he's also studying mathematics. But he's not just going to classes, he's obsessed. By 2017, while still an undergrad, he lands an internship at Google. And not just any internship, one at Google Brain. This is the absolute pinnacle of AI research. And he's about to walk into a room that will change everything. Picture this, you're 20 years old and you're an intern at Google Brain. You're surrounded by legends, people who literally wrote the textbooks on machine learning. Ashish Vaswani, Noam Shazir, Nikki Parmar, and Jeffrey Hinton are all down the hall. And everyone's frustrated because there's this fundamental problem with AI at the time. See, AI models in 2017 processed language like this, one word at a time in sequence. It was called recurrent neural networks, or RNN for short. The cat sat on the mat, had to be processed word by word. It was slow, it was inefficient, and it couldn't see the big picture. Then someone had this crazy idea. What if we didn't process words sequentially? What if we processed them all at once? But what if we gave a model a way to prioritize which words mattered most? This is where Aidan Gomez comes in. He's not a senior researcher, he's an intern, but he's in the room. And he's not just taking notes, he's contributing. Years later, he'd say, I was just trying to understand how attention mechanisms worked. We didn't know it'd become the architecture for everything. The team worked for months. They tested, they failed, they refined. And on June 12th, 2017, they published 8 pages that would change the AI world forever. The paper was called Attention is All You Need. It introduced the transformer architecture and listen to what it could do. On German to English translation, it beat the previous model by more than 2 points on the BLEU score, which is massive in machine translation. It trained in 3.5 days on 8 GPUs, a fraction of the time other models needed. And most importantly, it could be parallelized, meaning it could scale up in ways previous models could never. But here's what you need to understand. Every major AI model that you use today is built on that architecture. ChatGPT, the T stands for transformer. Aidan's paper, Claude, transformer. Gemini, transformer. Midjourney, all use transformers. Stable Diffusion, transformers. Sam Altman's OpenAI, Dario Amodi's Anthropic, Demis Hassabis at Google DeepMind, and Mark Zuckerberg at Meta AI. They're all building on the foundation that Aidan Gomez and his 7 co-authors created when they were 22 years old. Think about that. At 20, most people are figuring out what they want to do. Aidan Gomez literally invented the technology that powers the biggest technological revolution since the internet. So what did he do next? Did he stay at Google? Did he go work for one of the big AI labs? No, he did something completely different. And this is the decision that makes him truly unique. November 2022, OpenAI launches ChatGPT. The world goes insane. 100 million users in under 2 months. Alright, mini timeout. If this episode is giving you ideas, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free, it helps out a ton, and it means you're officially part of the community. Everyone's talking about it. VCs are throwing money at anything that says AI chatbot. The narrative becomes consumer AI is where it's at. Building the flashiest chatbot, getting the most users, dominating the market. But Aidan Gomez, he's playing a completely different game. He's been playing this game since 2019. In 2019, 3 years before the ChatGPT explosion, Aidan leaves Google Brain. He's pursuing a PhD at Oxford and makes the decision that confuses everyone. He's gonna build an enterprise AI company. Not consumer, not viral, not sexy, enterprise, business, corporations, the boring stuff. His co-founder Nick Frost explains it perfectly. When I think about my personal life, there's not a ton I want to automate. But when it comes to businesses and my work life, there's a lot I want to do. While OpenAI is chasing consumers, Aidan is building for Oracle, for Salesforce, for Royal Bank of Canada, for Dell, for governments. But why? Why ignore the consumer gold rush? Because Aidan saw something no one else saw. Privacy. Think about it. If you're a Fortune 500 company, can you really send your confidential data to OpenAI servers? If you're a bank, can you feed customer information into ChatGPT? If you're a healthcare company dealing with the HIPAA, can you really trust an external AI? The answer is no, and that's Cohere's entire strategy. Cohere builds AI that runs on your infrastructure, in your cloud, behind your firewall. Your data never leaves your control. They can literally install their AI on your GPU in a closet. That's all you really need. Let me give you a real example. Royal Bank of Canada, one of the largest banks in North America. They can't just upload consumer data to an external AI. That's regulatory suicide. So they partnered with Cohere to build North for Banking, a custom AI platform that runs entirely within RBC secure environment. Oracle, one of the world's largest enterprise software companies, has integrated Cohere into Oracle Fusion applications. Over 100 AI use cases, 14,000 plus customers are getting access to Cohere's models. Salesforce, Dell, SAP, Fujitsu, LG. These aren't just small players, they're titans, and they're all betting it on Cohere. The numbers speak for themselves. August 2025, 500 million raised at a $6.8 billion valuation. September 2025, another 100 million, pushing a valuation to $7 billion. Investors including Nvidia, AMD, Oracle, Salesforce Ventures. Revenue doubled in the first half of 2025, hitting 100 million APR, on track for 200 million by the end of the year. 85% of business is enterprise, with 80% margins. Now, is this OpenAI money? No. OpenAI is reportedly valued at 500 billion, Anthropic at 183 billion, but here's the difference. OpenAI is reportedly burning through $5 billion per year, but they need to keep raising at insane valuations. Cohere? They're building a sustainable business with actual margins and actual revenue from actual customers who need their product. Aidan Gomez isn't trying to be Sam Altman. He's not trying to build AGI or create viral moments. He's doing something way smarter. He's building infrastructure that every major corporation must use if they want AI without compromising security. August 2025. While everyone is distracted about the GPT-5 rumors and AI model drama, Cohere quietly launches something that might be their biggest innovation yet, North. North is Cohere's agentic AI platform. Think of it of ChatGPT for enterprises, but it's actually secure and actually useful for work. Here's what North does. Connects to Gmail, Slack, Salesforce, Outlook, Linear, all your existing tools. It can search across your entire company's knowledge base. It can write reports, create presentations, do market research, answer customer support queries, and most importantly, it does this all without sending your data anywhere. It can run on as few as 2 GPUs. It can deploy in your VPC, on-premise, in hybrid clouds, even in air-gapped environments. It meets GDPR SOC to ISO 27001 compliance. Dell is using it. RBC built a custom banking version, Ensemble Health partners in healthcare, Bell Canada for government enterprise. And these aren't just demos, they're production deployments. And here's why this is genius. While OpenAI fights over consumer market share and deals with copyright lawsuits and regulatory pressure, Cohere is embedding itself into the infrastructure of the world's most important organizations. Once a Fortune 500 company integrates North into their workflow, connects it to their data, trains their employees on it, the switching cost becomes massive. And that's not viral growth, that's moat building. But here's what makes Aidan Gomez truly fascinating. He's not really a CEO, at least not a traditional one. An investor who knows him really well once said, Aidan is happiest in front of a whiteboard talking about model architectures, the CEO stuff, fundraising, sales, press. He does it because he has to, not because he loves it. Look at his Twitter. It's not a polished CEO speak, it's technical discussions about attention mechanism variants, training optimizations, model architecture debates. He's still a researcher at heart. He still writes code. He reviews model architectures. He's in technical debates with Cohere's research team. At 28, he's a billionaire CEO who acts like a grad student who happens to run a company. But he's smart enough to know his limitations. In 2025, Cohere hired Joel Pinot, former head of AI research at Meta, one of the most respected researchers in the field, as chief AI officer. Francois Chadwick, former CFO of Shield AI, as CFO. He surrounded himself with operators who can handle the business complexity while he focuses on what he's actually world-class at, technical vision and product instincts. Oh, and remember the Oxford PhD he paused to start Cohere? He went back and finished it. In 2024, he got his doctorate while running a $7 billion company, because for Aidan Gomez, the research actually matters. Okay, so why does Aidan Gomez's story matter? Why should you care about some Canadian CEO you've probably never heard of? First, because he proves the real innovators aren't the ones with the biggest headlines. While Sam Altman is on every magazine cover and Elon is tweeting about AI doom, Aidan Gomez is quietly building the infrastructure that actually makes AI work for businesses. Second, because his approach to AI, privacy first, enterprise focus, sustainable business model, might actually be the winning strategy long term. Consumer AI is a race to the bottom on pricing. Enterprise AI, that's where the money is. The global enterprise AI market is projected to hit $300 billion by 2030. Cohere is positioning itself to capital on a meaningful chunk of that, not through hype, but through solving real problems. Third, because Aidan represents himself like a different kind of founder. He's not the charismatic, visionary, selling you an AGI on saving humanity. He's not the provocateur courting controversy. He's the technical genius who saw a gap in the market and built a company to fill it. And maybe most importantly, his journey shows you that you don't need to be the loudest person in the room to have the biggest impact. At 20, he helped create the technology that powers the biggest tech revolution of our time. At 28, he's building a company that could outlast the hype crisis. Impact over attention, substance over cycle, and long-term value over viral moments. That's Aidan Gomez's playbook. From a small town in Ontario to co-authoring the most important AI paper of the decade, from a Google intern to the CEO of a $7 billion company, from inventing transformers to building the enterprise AI platform that might actually change how work gets done. Cohere is reportedly preparing for an IPO. If they go public at a $7 to $10 billion valuation, they can prove sustainable revenue growth in enterprise. Aidan Gomez won't just be a successful founder, he'll be one of the most important business leaders in AI. So can Cohere really compete with OpenAI, Google, Anthropic long term? Maybe not. But they're not playing the same game. While other AGIs chase consumer virality, Cohere is becoming the invisible infrastructure that powers business AI. And that's perhaps the most important lesson from Aidan Gomez. The biggest opportunities aren't always in the most obvious places. Sometimes the boring enterprise play is actually the revolutionary one. Sometimes quiet researchers build some things more durable than a celebrity CEO. 8 pages written by a 20-year-old intern changed everything. That's the power of Aidan Gomez, and we're only seeing the beginning. So if you found this story valuable, subscribe for more deep dives in people actually building in the future, not just talking about it. Drop a comment. Do you think Cohere's enterprise strategy will beat OpenAI's consumer approach long term? I'm genuinely curious of what you think. I'm Ryan Ali, and I'll see you in the next episode.